Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review the season 2 premiere of Rap Shit. This episode is called Yield. So this is my first time reviewing this show. I did watch the first season when it was on, but I didn't react or review it. Maybe I'll do a separate review of that. I know at the end of this I did want to give my kind of like overview of how I feel about the show, but it's not going to be a recap or anything like that. And I don't know when I'm gonna start getting back on camera. I don't know. These reviews are just easier for me. They're quicker to edit and all that, and it's kind of fun. So we're on the premiere of season 2. It obviously got delayed because of the strike. Now the strike is over, which is great for everybody involved, actors, writers, everybody. So for me, I'm just going to quickly review the show. I'm not going to recap too much because if you're watching this, you probably already saw the episode. So I don't want to go scene by scene by scene. I don't want to recap every part of the show. I just kind of want to give my opinions on some of the different scenes. So we start off with our girls, Shauna and Mia, doing a music video with Raina Rain. This was the white girl rapper from last season, kind of like an Iggy Azalea, but she's actually a better rapper than Iggy Azalea. But they're doing this music video in the kitchen, pink lights. I guess they're cooking crack, which I think is so weird. I just automatically thought that they were like just cooking, but they're cooking crack. Anyway, so obviously Shauna is uncomfortable. Mia don't really care. She's dancing. It's so funny because this actually reminds me of that episode of Girlfriends where Lynn's white ass sister comes to visit and she's on her like Erykah Badu shit, and basically she's kind of trying to act like a black woman, which by the way, I always thought that was interesting that they made her more like a Erykah Badu girl than like a, I don't even know what you would call, like, I guess a city girl. It's probably because in the early 2000s, neo-soul was really big. So you really don't see that too often. Like when we see characters or white people trying to act black, it's never the neo-soul type people. It's always the city girl, whatever. Anyway, and what I found so interesting with that episode was that Joan and Tony did not like what this woman was doing. And both of them were kind of like the bougie ones who had money during the show. They didn't really come from money, but they had money on the show, versus Maya was kind of like the round the way girl, and she didn't really have an issue with the white girl acting like that. And so fast forward to this episode, Shauna, the more like, because Shauna's not from the hood, she's kind of suburban, I guess, but she's kind of like the more educated, like Shauna's the more aware one, so she doesn't like what Raina's doing, versus Mia is like from the hood and she's okay with it. But I always find that so interesting. Like anytime I see like that white female character who's trying to act black, usually it's one set of black women who are okay with it and then one set that are not. And I don't know how true that is to real life, if y'all can chime down. Because to me, it's almost like, oh, well, the girls from the hood don't really care. They get along with girls like this. But the suburban girls and the, I don't know, higher education girls usually don't like it. So anyway, what I thought was interesting about this scene was Francois, I'll just call him the producer guy. He brought up outrage marketing because, Shauna's like, hey, this might offend the people who sell drugs to feed their family. And he's just like, this is outrage marketing. And I thought that was so interesting because I think that's definitely a real thing, to where there are artists and people and companies who do things on purpose to piss people off because it keeps their artists or their name in people's mouths. No matter if it's, if it's good or bad, it gets them out there. And so I thought it was interesting that he brought that up. So we also get a look into Shauna's family, who I don't feel like we saw last season. And I was kind of confused because, she kind of crept into the house and the mother was already she already had an attitude. And so I assumed that she knew that Shauna got arrested, but she didn't. And I guess obviously she didn't tell her. Obviously she didn't need the parents to get her out, but the sister knew because of the internet. And so the mom was just upset because the mom is already on edge because Shauna dropped out of school. I know. And then Shauna says like, hey, I'm about to go on tour with whatever this rapper's name is. And that just sent the mom. She's just like, if you go on tour, you can never come back or whatever. So it also seems like the mother, I don't know about the father, but it seems like the mother is from another country. So I'm sure that plays a part in her disappointment in Shauna. But I mean, there's also American parents who would be disappointed in their child too if they did the same thing. So then we also get Mia trying on clothes with her friends, and the kids are there, which I don't know if they should have been there. But anyway, the girls are going on tour, you know, for 3 weeks, and the one friend from Insecure, the bank teller, she tells Mia like, oh, my work schedule changed. 2 of the weeks I can't really watch Mia's daughter, and Mia doesn't want to, you know, take the child to her mom, so now she has to talk to Lamont. And I mean, I don't remember how they left off, but obviously there's some bad blood there. I don't remember at all, but he had an attitude the entire time, this entire first season, and I think he's cute. I don't know about his character, but I think he's cute. So then we have the girls with their manager, Chastity, aka Blue from Bad Girls Club. And basically they're talking to Francois about the pre-sale tickets. There's like 20,000, everything's going well. And they're thinking they're going to perform their songs. There are 2 songs that they have, and Francois is like, well, hold up now. No, you're only performing the song you have with Raina. And so Blue doesn't like this, and she just basically wants to kind of haggle with the producer, like, you know, take this back to, you know, ask your people if they can perform, because it's just like, all we have is 2 songs. It's literally 10 minutes. It can really get us out there. But then Shauna is more like, okay, I don't want to mess this up and we lose this deal. So I'm kind of like in the middle, because like Blue said, you never just take the first deal. But of course Shauna and Mia are trying to get put on, and Francois said, I can't say his name, and the producer guy said something about $1 million deal, which I think he's lying about that. I don't think he has a confirmation with that, obviously. So, and I don't like him. They end up talking about it, and they basically just go with the deal of not performing their own songs. And is it just me, or the actor who is casted as the producer guy, I don't know, I just feel like he's miscasted. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's this goatee, if it's the eyebrows. Everything annoys me. And I know he's supposed to be annoying, but just something just doesn't fit. I don't know. So then we get to the funniest scene in the whole episode, which was Mia's going away party. It's so ghetto.
Anybody else say something different, I'll beat their ass.
What you gonna do, friend?
I'm like, bink, 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 bink.
And her friends, or the one friend, does a toast, and there's like this fake crying going on. The mom's having something to say. She has, I don't know if this is a new boyfriend, a new man or whatever. And when Mia's other friend tries to, you know, speak, the mom just interrupts. To me, it's just funny. But the mom is drunk. Okay, she definitely has a alcohol problem. Also, the mom is really beautiful. I really think all the girls are beautiful. You know, I thought their looks, I love their makeup, I love their hair, everything. So Mia's daughter is also upset that she's leaving, and she don't really want to be with anybody. She don't want to be with Mia's mom. She don't want to be with the dad and his grandmother. She talking about they don't have all the channels, which I thought was so funny, because I remember when I was young and this older couple babysat me like once. I don't think they didn't have cable, and the one movie they had was The Lorax, and I just was like in hell. The Lorax is a good movie, but not for kids. It's too much. And I don't know, it reminded me of her saying they don't even have the channels. I guess they don't have streaming services either. Shoot, when I was young, we did not have streaming. We just had cable and VHS tapes. So then we see Maurice, he's fine too, with Shauna. I think he asked her about the investigation. They have this little weird sex scene, which I have such a gripe with scenes like this. I hate it. I can count on one hand how many times these type of scenes, and we all know what this type of scene was, this specific sexual act, I can count on one hand how many times it has been done right. I hate it. This man, when he got down there, he looked like he was doing something else, okay? It just doesn't look right. It does, like, if you're going to do that position, her groin area needs to be all in your face. Because when it's not, it just looks dumb. And so just about every time I see that position, not that specific position, but that act is almost never done right. It's never done right. And I hate it so much. And I was waiting for the sex scene because I like their sex scene last season a lot. So they should just kind of stick with that. But anyway, and then Lamont goes to speak with Mia. And she's going through it because she has to leave her child, and then her mom's acting up, and then her and Lamont aren't good. And I was waiting for them to have sex too because I liked their sex scene last season. But he was like, nope, which I thought was kind of cool because men, the way they're programmed, they're just ready to go. But he was just like, nah, I'm trying to remember what happened. But anyway, and so then this was the shady scene. Basically, Issa's brother from Insecure pops up, and he calls Maurice out, and he's just wondering about Shauna. Like, he's asking about Shauna, like, what do you think? Is she gonna snitch? And he's just like, no, she's good. And I just thought that was so weird and shady, just because of course Maurice is not gonna go back to Shauna and tell her what this guy is saying, or at least he didn't let her know before he went out. I don't know how to feel. It's just weird. I don't think it's gonna end well. And then the guy, he's basically like, they're gonna question me tomorrow, and if it's between me and her, who I'm gonna choose. And I'm just like, see, this is why you don't get into fraud and all that other shit, okay? As soon as I saw her taking pictures of credit cards, I was like, oh my god, girl, no. This episode looked really good. I like the cinematography. I love the very warm Miami colors, very vibrant colors. I thought the girls looked really good. Obviously starting off kind of weird. There's weird energy in the air with the girls, the management, producers, baby daddies, all that. So I'm ready for this season. In general, without speaking for too long, I like the show because of who is representing and the type of people they're representing. And I feel like sometimes these type of women, specifically like Mia, are kind of left on the back burner. And I know when I first saw the trailer for this was right after, I think right after Insecure ended. And of course, Insecure represented certain type of black women. And then, seeing this trailer, it was kind of like, okay, what is this about? This looks very cliche. We've already seen this, but have we seen a scripted show about, first of all, obviously we have seen a scripted show about female rappers, the one that Brandy was on. But I think in general, we haven't had good scripted television about black women in hip hop, but also black women from the hood. And I find sometimes, because female rap is so big right now, and the City Girls are big, and Megan's big, and Cardi's big, it becomes this thing of, well, we see that on IG, why do we have to see it on HBO? And it's just like, we see it on IG, but we don't see the stuff behind the scenes. We see these girls with their makeup on, performing, smiling, popping bottles, twerking. We don't see the stuff going on behind the scenes, you hear about the drama with a Young Miami, and of course we saw what was going on with Meg Thee Stallion, but we don't see the peaks and valleys of what these women have to go through. Obviously, as black people, we have a complex relationship with black people from the hood being represented. We've seen it, but we haven't seen it in the best light. And even when the times that we have seen it, it's been black men, and majority of the times they're doing some type of crime, they're selling drugs. We don't even really see the regular 9 to 5 black man from the hood. It's always on some criminal stuff, with the exception of I know The Shy, there's still the criminal aspect of that show, but there's black men trying to do better, or just being regular guys, but most of the time we don't see that because people find it boring, including black people, and within all those stories, we haven't seen a story or have followed black women from the hood. And I think in general, we just don't care about these women, and I like that this show is representing them to an extent. Like, obviously not all girls from the hood act like Mia, and then not all whatever educated, aware, lyrical, spiritual type black women act like Shauna, but I think it gives us like a look into at least a few of these girls' stories. But what I also like, and just in general, I think that there's so much disrespect to black women from the hood. Just the fact that we talk so much shit about these girls, but we're walking around saying period. We're walking around with the baby hairs. Some of us are walking around with the long fingernails. We're walking around, we're buying stuff from Fashion Nova, and literally black girls from the hood are the blueprint for Fashion Nova, for Pretty Little Things, for Sheen, whatever the hell it's called. And obviously, again, not all black women from the hood look and act like this. Not all black women act like this, and of course not the representation is not always good, and there's obviously not a balance because people find it so entertaining right now, but that doesn't mean that we turn around and disrespect these women, because if we're fighting for black people in general, we're fighting for black women, it includes these women. Like, who are y'all fighting for? You only fighting for the Michelle Obamas of the world? You're only fighting for the Yara Shahidis of the world? Like, if anything, these women a lot of times have privileges, and they're not going through the same things as maybe like a Sexy Red before she got popular, or a Glorilla before she got popular, or whoever. So that's why I just like how they represent that. But I also like that they represent that this is a trend right now. Like, as much as I love the female rap that is mainstream, obviously it's trendy like anything else, and even just like the male side of it. And I like that they show the fact that Shauna wants to make a certain type of music, but that music, realistically, the type of music that she's trying to make, the visuals are not being supported right now. Like, they're being supported, but they're not being supported the way like a girl like Mia or Raina is being supported. Point blank, period. And that's very relevant, because we complain about the female rap, but then we don't support the Rhapsodies, the Chicas, the Tierra Wax, the Mother Natures, the Any, the Snow the Product, the Princess Nokias, and I can keep on going down because I listen to both sides. Now, do I listen to Lotto more than I listen to Tierra Whack? Yes. Do I listen to Meg Thee Stallion more than I listen to Rhapsody? Yes, sometimes. But I also listen to Any more than I listen to Glorilla. So it's just a mix-up. But we can't sit up here and complain when this is what we're watching. We don't like the girls being half naked, but we're clicking on their pictures. We're clicking on their YouTube videos. But when the girls are wearing hoodies, they're dressed up, we're not clicking. When they're talking about relationships, love, their life, because I listen to a lot of these girls' albums and they have those songs, yet people aren't listening to them, So they're trying to make money out here like everybody else. But I like that they still speak about that. I like that they speak about that. A scene that I thought was really cool last season, it was very subtle, but the last season, Shauna had went viral for a freestyle that she did. And it was kind of about like a Black Lives Matter type of freestyle. And it was for black people as a whole. And so when she's working, the front desk at this hotel, this guy comes up, it's like, oh, I recognize you from that one video. And he liked it so much. But then when she showed him her new freestyle, which was specifically about black women, he kind of was like, what is this, some black feminist shit? And it was like, huh? But it was like real quick, and it ended real quick. But I thought that was real interesting too, how the lyrical girls go through shit too. Like, if they tend to rap about something else and they rap about the shit that they go through as black women or as women or queer women or whatever, then it turns people off as well. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And also the aspect of the fact that they explored sex work, and they're still exploring it because Blue is a pimp or whatever. But last season, Mia did OnlyFans or something like OnlyFans, and she had a sugar daddy or something, and that didn't end too well. So, and I find, as much as people kind of complain about representation of sex workers. Like, I find almost every time that I've seen it represented, it always shows you the negative sides of it, you know, because this is survival for these girls, you know. And I'm not anti-sex work at all. I think we do need to know that it's not a glamorous life, just like any industry of work. None of this stuff is glamorous the way that it's portrayed. So I just wanted to give my overall opinion about it. I love that Issa created this. It really is up. If you keep up with Issa and you actually watched Insecure, it makes sense that she would make a show like this. So I like it. Hopefully this season goes well. So yeah, so tell me your thoughts below. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe, and look forward to my next video. Thanks for watching.